So my name is Rick Specht. I've been in the pool industry for 30 plus years, done hundreds if not thousands of startups. This MicroGlass is the one that's been unique, pretty amazing at the results we found. So a few days ago we had an opportunity to plaster both a pool and a waiter, and we used MicroGlass on the pool, and the waiter was a simple straight plaster. What we found a few days later at the startup was something pretty dramatic. So in the waiter, we found what we would normally find. Lots of plaster dust. The chemical readings, I took notes. The waiter with no MicroGlass, the total alkalinity was about 200. Same with the calcium hardness, was also 200. The pool, which was done with MicroGlass, that was the surprise. So what we found was there was almost zero plaster dust. And then when we checked the water chemistry, here's what we found. So the total alkalinity was only 150. The calcium hardness was only 140. So, and again, no plaster dust. So what we're finding is that it's not pulling any calcium from the finish. The startup is going to be much easier because there's not all the residue and having to deal with the plaster dust issue. So again, the main difference was in the waiter where we didn't use the MicroGlass, what we found is we didn't really have to add any calcium because it had already pulled it out of the plaster. Whereas the pool with the MicroGlass, what we found is because it wasn't pulling any from the finish, we actually had to introduce calcium into the water. But it's telling us that now we know that that material is going to be solid. We didn't pull any of the calcium out of that material to get it balanced. So the pH in both bodies of water, the pH in the waiter with a standard plaster was high as you normally would anticipate, and we have to knock that down. That's part of the process of the startup. With the MicroGlass, it was still high, but not nearly as high. And what we found is it's stabilizing at a much faster rate. So we'll end up using far less acid to balance that pH out. And of course, adjusting the water chemistry is going to be much easier. So the end results of the MicroGlass are pretty amazing.